So I want to talk about extreme hunger, which I have talked about before on this channel, but extreme hunger has been such a huge and challenging part of my recovery, and I think that it is for a lot of people, so I really want to talk about it again. And I know that not everyone experiences extreme hunger, and whether you do or you don't, that does not affect the validity of your eating disorder. Your eating disorder is valid whether you experience it or not. But for me, I definitely did experience extreme hunger, and it lasted for over a year, and it was really tough. First of all, what is extreme hunger? I think of it as that bottomless pit sensation where you feel like you could eat and eat and eat, or you are eating and eating, but you just don't feel satisfied. For me, I could feel really physically bloated and uncomfortable, but mentally I would still be thinking about food, and it felt like I wanted to inhale the entire contents of my pantry and my fridge and everything in my kitchen, because I just could not stop thinking about food and I was so hungry. I think that extreme hunger has probably been the scariest part of my recovery, because it really plays into the fears that my eating disorder has around, like, well, what if I eat everything I want and then I still want more? What if I can't stop? Or what if I reach a healthy weight and then I still feel really, really hungry? Like, what's the point in going through recovery if I'm still going to experience all those things but at a higher weight? Extreme hunger also felt very isolating, because like no one was eating as much as I was eating, and I know rationally that's because the people that I'm with haven't been through starvation. Their bodies aren't recovering from the effects of prolonged restriction. But still, it's hard when you eat a bigger portion than everyone else for dinner, and then 5 minutes later you're hungry again. You have dessert, then you have snacks, and you keep having snacks, and it can feel quite lonely because no one else is going through that with you at the time, and it's tough. I always did my best, and if I experienced it again, I would still do my best to listen to my extreme hunger and respond, but that would leave me feeling quite guilty and ashamed, because it's a lot of food, and like throughout my recovery I've been prescribed several meal plans, and extreme hunger requires you to go way above that amount, or it did for me. Like the bowl of porridge that my dietitian prescribed for breakfast, no way was that going to satisfy me. I needed way more, and so that felt wrong. Like, why isn't my body happy with what the dietitian said should be enough? As I said, it also felt really physically uncomfortable. I felt bloated, my clothes felt really tight, I would get a sore stomach. I really, playing into this isolation thing, another reason I felt isolated was because I didn't want to leave the house. One, because I could barely move. Like, I was really full and moving was uncomfortable. And two, because I needed to eat pretty much constantly, and leaving the house meant probably going a period without eating. Like, I remember a few months into recovery, I went to a lecture and I took a couple of muesli bars with me. The lecture was only an hour long, about a 10-minute drive there and back. I ate both those muesli bars on the way to the lecture, and then spent the lecture thinking about food, because I just needed to be eating all the time. So extreme hunger is really exhausting, painful, lonely, and uncomfortable, and I endured it, I listened to it, and now it seems to have passed. I haven't experienced extreme hunger for several months, which is a huge relief, and I don't ever want to lose weight again, because I know that the only reason I'm not experiencing extreme hunger anymore is because my body has reached its healthy weight. Coinciding with not experiencing extreme hunger, my weight also reached its highest point that it has ever, and it's also stayed stable for several months. So yes, extreme hunger does pass. It doesn't last forever. In the moment it feels like it is gonna go on forever, but it does gradually decrease in frequency, and then it leaves you alone. And I want to emphasize that I'm talking about my body's healthy weight, not healthy according to a BMI chart, because I certainly still experience extreme hunger when my body reached, the healthy BMI target. So I had to surpass that to actually diminish the extreme hunger. Even though extreme hunger does pass, I don't really want to emphasize that. I want to emphasize the purpose that I think extreme hunger serves. And some of those purposes are fairly obvious. If your body is telling you to eat food, you need that food, regardless of what weight you are. And by that I mean, if you're thinking about food, if you're feeling physically hungry, you need to eat. And you need to eat as much as your body or mind is telling you to, until you are satisfied. But as horrible as extreme hunger was in the moment, I do know that it was my body helping me to recover more quickly. By experiencing extreme hunger and responding to it, it meant that I was eating a lot of food. Yes, I was gaining weight, and that ultimately enabled me to reach my body's healthy weight faster, so that I could more quickly reduce the horrible anorexia thoughts that I was having at that time. I still get anorexia thoughts, but they are not as bad as they were then. And even as I neared my body's healthy weight, I was still experiencing extreme hunger, and that is scary. But I sort of think of it as my body telling me, hey, we're almost there, we just need a little bit more to get to a good place to settle. And so I ate more and we got there. And extreme hunger also forced me to face my fears driven by anorexia. What if I gain weight and I still feel hungry? Well, I ate more. What if I eat lots and lots and I still want more? I ate more. I ate more in the face of my anorexia fears, and nothing bad happened. And that really helped to solidify my recovery, and for several reasons, because there are some days now when I'm extra hungry and I eat extra snacks, or I eat bigger meals than usual. The day before my period, I'm often very hungry, and it's not to the same extent as when I experienced extreme hunger, but it is more food. But having been through extreme hunger and eaten lots, I know that when I eat lots now, with holidays or whatever, day before my period, I know that nothing bad is going to happen. And it's also solidified my recovery, because extreme hunger was so tough. I don't want to go through that again. But if I lost weight, then I would go through it again. I know that I would, because my body wouldn't be happy, and it would bring up thoughts of food way more, and then I would have to respond to it. And yeah, so extreme hunger would reappear if I lost weight. So therefore, I have to make sure that I maintain my weight by eating lots. There is no too much. So if I'm ever questioning if I've eaten enough, then I need to eat more. But the thought of having to go through extreme hunger again really motivates me to at least maintain where I'm at now in my recovery, but hopefully reaching full recovery. And ultimately, the outcome of extreme hunger through going through the process of eating lots is that I've reached my body's healthy weight. And because of that, I have much more mental freedom, fewer thoughts of food, I feel more energetic, and I'm closer to full recovery. So if you are going through extreme hunger right now, I know that it's really hard, but there are benefits to it. Your body is protecting you, and by eating a lot and responding to your extreme hunger, you're going to recover faster. And I think that's what we all want, because living with anorexia or eating disorder thoughts is very tough. So I think that's all I want to say today about extreme hunger. I hope that was helpful to anyone going through it. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll record again soon. Okay, bye. So I just had a shower and have been drinking a smoothie and editing this video, and I just wanted to say that even though I've referred to it as extreme hunger throughout this video, because I think that's what it's most commonly known as, it's really not that extreme, in that it's a natural response of our bodies to prolonged restriction. It's much like that analogy of Tabitha Farrar's, that if you hold your breath for 30 seconds, then you're going to take a big breath of air afterwards, because you've been restricting the oxygen and you need a lot more all of a sudden. And that's very similar to our hunger response. We've been restricting food, and so then we need a lot more when that food is available to us. So I just wanted to make that comment there, that eating a lot after not eating very much is a very natural response of our bodies.